Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of SOC Talks with Joy and Shawn. We're glad to have you here today. And we know that many of you are still working towards that VIP leadership launch, I guess. Well, I don't even know what they call it. Promptings VIP Leadership Launch Retreat or something like that. It doesn't matter. As long as you get one of those words in there, it's in January and you need to be there.
VIP, yes, absolutely,
The
absolutely.
VIP, you just really want to be there. Don't twist our arms, but you need to be there.
And you
And
know what? Not only for that, but next year you'll get to be on, what's coming. I mean, we're privy to a lot of really cool stuff over the last year. Uh,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you're with the leaders, and man, you always hear, you want if you're the if you're the top person in the room, you want to find another room. You want to be with people that have done what you want to do, and are encouraging, and there's you never hear criticism, and you never hear snarkiness, and it is just people that want to be the best they can be. So
yeah,
if nothing for that, you get a whole year of that with and Greg and Cody and what other guests we may be
yeah.
introduced to.
And
So
when I look back on that,
and us, I mean,
yeah,
come
yeah,
on, that's well worth it
that was
right
us.
there.
But what else you want, right?
Yeah.
It's so true. And I look back on last year. In fact, I had a memory pop up on my feed, and it was last year this time that I qualified for it. And so that somebody had posted that, and it showed up there, and I'm thinking, boy, I remember how hard it was at the last minute to get qualified. For whatever reason, whether I slacked off or or wasn't as consistent. I really wasn't as consistent as I am this year. Whatever the case may be, but it was a work. It was something I worked for. I had my target set for that. That's what I wanted to do, and I made it. And that's what so many of you still today, you can make it. You just got to get that focus. You Last week Shawn and I talked about your mindset, the mindset on those
Yeah.
395s. It's really a mindset. So don't sit back now and say, oh, my gosh, I got 3 weeks left, I'm not going to make it, I haven't got any.
And guess what? You won't make it.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. If you're saying that to yourself, you are not making it. But I will tell you, I can't tell you how many times this past year I was so grateful I pushed myself and I made it there.
Mhm.
Because you're right, Shawn. This past year and being part of this launch group, it's phenomenal what we
I don't know about you, but this has probably been one of my best send out cards years financially.
really.
Um, and you know what? COVID has a lot to do with that because I think people are, and we've talked, businesses and individuals, they're looking for ways to stay connected with their clients that you can't meet face to face. And it's not a newsletter email or it's not a text. And then secondly, the second source of income or third for some families, because I truly believe there's people that never thought they would look at network marketing that have looked at network marketing this year
Hmm.
because maybe they got furloughed or their neighbor got furloughed. And, well, I went through '08. My job was secure, and this is just a different animal.
Hmm.
So people are open to things. And if you don't think they are, again, that's not the right mindset to take.
Right.
If you're thinking, well, people got laid off, they don't have money to do this. There's people out there making a lot of money right now that are looking for something like this. I
Hmm.
think again, just what Joy talked to, you got to really get in that mindset that there are tens, hundreds of thousands of people that need send out cards that just haven't heard about it yet.
Right. Right.
I just walked to, actually, it was a referral. I just got off the phone or Zoom with a mortgage lender and a commercial lender. That the commercial lender got a card from a realtor that I'd signed up a couple years ago, and the mortgage lender reached out to me, and she's fairly new, and she's like, "Oh, I want to see this." Great, so we just scheduled it. They walked through it. They're both going to sign up as customers because they saw. Oh my God, this is great. They never heard of it. Neither one had ever heard of it.
Mhm.
So they're out there, So it's doing what are we doing to get customers? And are we sending 3 to 5 cards a day or more if you're on the unlimited? Are you making your list or have you made your updated your list and start reaching out to people? Are you sending a text? Joy posted last week the 2 texts she's using to pique interest. This is the holiday season. You're in it. It starts with Halloween.
Mhm.
We're in it. So we need to get that message out. And here's a shocker. The more you do that, the more opportunity you have to sign people up.
Yeah. exactly. It's amazing how that happens.
Yeah, and
So
it takes the stress off because
yeah,
if you're
yeah,
we've talked, if you're chasing one or two people, you're stressed. They're stressed because you're bothering the hell out of them. Where if you've got 30 or 40 people in the pipeline, oh, so Bob doesn't want to do it. Great, I'll catch him next year. It's not the right time for him. Move
yeah.
on. Let me just keep going through my list. So
Yeah, yeah. So, Sean, on the list that you have, people get like freaked out when they think about this list sometimes. They're like, what kind of list is this? Well, it's just people that you I guess probably my biggest thing is I go to Facebook every day when I'm on Facebook and I see who's on Messenger. And I
yeah,
just see the names and I just see and I will shoot something out to those people all the time, you
and
know.
so I had a did I had a new friendship pop up within Facebook. And he actually messaged me and said, "Hey, thanks for connecting. And great. Hey, what do you?" And I knew he was a realtor. So, hey, what are you doing? How's business? And he's like, "Oh, jumped into it in January. Who knew? It's not as good as I thought, but I'm still doing well." And I didn't go right to, "Hey, let me show you. Send out cards. What time do you?" We we had a conversation, and
Mhm.
well, what else? Anything else going on this year? And what do you do? And I'll send out cards. Great way to stay top of mind with your clients and left it. I didn't, "Hey, what can I show you?" So it was that slow drip. And it was through one feed. And I got to the point where like, man, I'd love to show you. When do you so we're meeting this afternoon. We're doing a Zoom this afternoon. So if
Mhm.
you friended people on Facebook recently or LinkedIn, hey,
Mhm.
thanks for connecting. How can I help you? What do you do? Tell me a little bit about yourself. Start that conversation. Everybody wants it, but most people are afraid to do it.
Mhm.
You're not connecting with people just to say you have 4,000 friends. You want that relationship to build and,
Right. Right.
and use the BNI and send out cards way of how can I help you? What's a good referral for you? How can I, maybe I know somebody that I could get your way. They're
Mhm.
going to ask what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your opportunity to say, I'd love to show you. When are you available for a Zoom for 20 minutes, a half hour that I can walk you through sending a card? And
Right.
if
Right.
nothing else, if you refer somebody to me, at least you know what I do.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And asking the question, like, is there something that, if you could sum up in one sentence how I can help you, what would that be?
Sure.
What's that? I mean, what's that one avatar? What's that one person, not avatar, but what kind of person is it that
Right.
that I can connect you with? It really makes them feel interested. I totally agree with that. When we go to the meetings, we get wrapped up with the business card thing. I don't even take, I have business cards with you, but very seldom do I ever pull them out. I want people to tell me about them. I want to see
Sure.
what they have to say, what they want to do, and that type of thing. Um, and I know that one of the girls on one of the teams that I'm on, um, as they're working towards this goal, they just had a whole bunch of business cards. And, some of the people they knew, some they didn't, but they did like a major email, I want to say blast, but it was, the
Sure.
first time. And then it was like, and I told her, I said, take that list of that 150. I said, separate those cards out. How many people do you actually know that you've talked to about sending out cards? And the ones that don't, put them aside. That's that
Yeah.
funnel. That's over there for another day. It's for a snowy day in January,
Sure.
kind of a thing. But now you've got all these other people. Now it's the individual. What can I
Right.
do to help you? What are you
You know,
thinking about for the holidays? Have you
and
thought
another
about?
thing with Facebook is, comment on the people that have common interests with you, because
Yes.
that's a way to build that trust a little quicker and be genuine about it. Don't
Mhm.
if you see they like, you're in Pittsburgh, you see they like the Steelers. Hey, didn't it suck that we didn't get to see them last week because they didn't play, and and oh, we played the Eagles this. So, but be genuine in your post and your comments
Mhm.
within Facebook, because that kind of quickens the trust factor if you've got something in common
Right.
as
Yeah,
well.
that's a good
So
point. That's really a good point. Yeah, and gosh, your customers out there. I mean, hundreds of customers that you might have. When's the last time you reached out to them? Have you been
right,
practicing what you preach with those that we teach business owners to do?
right,
So this is a good time to reach out to each of them.
yep.
And just say,
Because
hey,
let us tell you, you want to get customers before January
yeah, oh, hands down, you want to get as many customers under
or
your belt as
affiliates.
you possibly can, and affiliates.
Yep.
And affiliates, yeah, yeah. I mean, just make it happen because
So what are you doing to try to I mean, this is obviously our busiest time of the year. It's probably, obviously, it is the time when the most cards are sent, but
Mhm,
it's also a time when I'm assuming that the most people come on.
mhm.
And you do that well through the, Christmas, it just kind of bleeds into January and February, and then you have a great year. So what kind of things are you doing, Joy?
Well, probably the main thing that I'm doing, I am going back on the list that I've had, and I'm
Okay.
going back to each of them, and I'm doing it. I mean, they're getting touched by the newsletter every week if they're reading it, or if they're seeing it, but they're hopefully at least seeing my name come through, kind of thing. But I am actually reaching out to them individually, and I'm the questions that I've been putting out there. I'm just kind of posing those questions to them. Have you put any thought into, this year reaching out to people, to show gratitude and appreciation, reaching
Sure.
out to your friends, colleagues, customers. I had somebody the other day say, well, it was a network marketing company, say, well, we don't get their mailing addresses. And I'm thinking, seriously? Well, then why aren't you getting them?
Right.
I mean, you personally, if you've got that relationship with them, like, hey, by the way, I'd love to send you a birthday card now and then, or I'd love
Sure.
to update, there's ways to do it, kind of thing. But the important thing is individually. I'm just private messaging them, or I'm
Okay.
texting them. Everybody's in a different world, or a different time in their place or whatever. So the message can be different. I had somebody the other day that popped up, and it was like, hey, just checking in. How'd that new person like that? How'd that person like the free card I just sent them?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
that you just sent them.
Yep.
How did they respond to that? Let them, oh, they just love it, da da da. Because I did those things in the first part of the year,
Sure.
with the graduate, between graduations and, and all those kind of things. So those kind of people, I'm going back, circling back around with them, like, how did they like it? Kind of a thing. Oh, they just loved it. I said, hey, are you planning to do holiday cards this year? You know, don't say holiday cards through send out cards. Just say, are you planning to do holiday cards
Yeah.
this year? You know, have you ever thought about making it Thanksgiving, a gratitude and appreciation instead of the holiday? Just kind of like lead into those conversations
Right.
until where you can finally say, hey, would you be interested in taking a look? Let me show you what we have. It might be an option, it might not. It's okay, no matter what,
Yeah.
kind of
Good.
thing.
Yeah.
Somebody on one of the calls I was on recently went back to their, I think it was Callie, went back to her Christmas cards from last year. And everybody that was not a send out card person she made up a card. She actually did a physical greeting card, and from
We can
send
do
out
that?
cards.
Wow.
Yeah, from send out cards, and actually sent
Oh,
that
okay.
card out to them and just said, hey, loved your card last year. We just want to know if you would want to give this a chance,
Sure. Yeah.
to take a look at. So she did that. And I know something I did. I came across this, I want to say brilliant ideas, but I do get them every so often. I get these like
We
ideas.
all do every once in a while. Yeah. I
This
think
one
I've had
I
one.
thought was a very brilliant one. I haven't done it yet, but I'm working on it because I have to work with Canva a little bit on it. But what I did was I pulled one of the three fold cards from last year
Uh-huh.
that somebody sent me with send out cards. I had all kind of pictures.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Okay, and I took a photo of that, and then I'm gonna take a photo of just a regular, Hallmark card that's $6 or whatever, and I'm gonna combine it in a graphic that said, something on the lines of, this for $1.86 or this for da da da.
Right.
Which one would
Which
the
one do you think
person,
the person's going to keep too?
yeah, which one is the person going to keep?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. Because, hey, the reality, if you haven't run the numbers on it, 186 is that 131 plus a stamp,
Sure.
kind of thing. So I'm going to do that. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to market that, but that was just something I wanted to, because I can see people
Well, you could even take a picture, have both cards, like the 3 panel and the card, and take a picture and just do the full inside of a card and then write over it without creating it outside. If you give a space to write,
Oh, okay. You mean
place them
the
both.
card itself? Oh,
Yeah, so
yeah,
place
that
the
could
three
work.
panel and then the Hallmark card. Oh wait, place the Hallmark card and the 3 panel in front of it, and then have a space. That way you can just take the picture, throw it on the inside of the card so it full spans, and write
Yeah,
over it to
yeah,
say which one do you think would have the bigger impact. You
yeah.
know, and
That
yeah, dollar
could work.
81,
Yeah,
$5.95.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah. So somehow that's how I'm kind of working at, so they can get the visual.
so
With
hey, how
both.
about this? If you're watching this, what are your struggles about getting customers? What's your block? What, if you have them, if you haven't had the best year and send out cards, kind of put that too. And, let us try to help you, because I'm telling you, whatever year you've had this year, next year is going to blow it out of the water.
Mhm.
But now is the time to get going.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Build your stuff, get your, get your
we're
growth.
going to give you 2021 is now. Doesn't that feel good? No more 2020. 2021 is now. Come on. So
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, for those that are really on the crunch and, offer to do things for people. I mean, some people like to do that, some people don't. I have no trouble designing a campaign for somebody. And I do it
actually
on my own
help.
site and then share it with them.
Yeah. And I actually, when I get somebody new, I'll, like the two that I just got off the phone with, I'm like, all right, get signed. Because they're like, do you think we should get our list together or get going? I'm like, get your cards out. Let's get going now. And laughed about it. We're like, oh, okay. But I said, we're going to get together. We're going to do the back of the card, at least one. We'll create a couple if you want. And we're going to create a campaign card so you can see how easy it is. And I'll help you with that. And what's come up in the last couple weeks is when I'm sharing information, they're like, is there a place I can get that? Like, is there a place on the site, the things you've been talking about? Like, well, no, not really. It's just me.
Mhm.
Use me as the resource if you have questions.
Right.
And even the guy that was looking, he goes, wow, you're just kind of limited to your own creativity with these cards, aren't you? And I'm like, exactly. So
Exactly.
it's,
Exactly.
and you know what? When you get in the mode of not sharing it once a day, but sharing it 3 to 4 times a day, or even twice a day, it's amazing those people start popping up more that really get it.
Mhm.
And it's not a struggle to sell them on it. They just get it and they want to do it.
Yeah.
That's another advantage of not chasing 1 or 2 people, but getting more people in your pipeline. And I think it's easier now than it's ever been with Zoom. Everyone's comfortable with it. It's easy to jump on. If you can't do like that walkthrough I did was an hour, but they put pictures in, they were asking all kinds of questions. But typically I can do that in a half hour.
Oh yeah.
I didn't want it 10 minutes. Because she was like, am I getting
Oh
questions?
yeah.
Nope, got it. Good. I'm like,
I
wow,
did someone
okay.
the other day, which I really thought was going to be like a long process because just kind of in meeting him, it was going to be like a lot of hold handing. I mean, and not in the negative way.
Yep.
Just like I was going to have to like really work with him. And when I got on the Zoom with him, he said, "Yeah, I already signed up for the 17." And it's like, well, I can.
Okay.
You know,
Well, let's send a card now then.
yeah, let's just get on there and send that baby,
Yeah.
and be done with it. So it was like really kind of funny, that they had already done that themselves. So, but yeah, sometimes we make it harder than it is,
A
and
lot
it's
of
like,
times.
yeah, just find out what people, love on people, let them, what can you do for them, and that's going to turn around and wind up back
And
to
you know what? If you're teaching people the right way, because the commercial lender that got the card from the realtor I sent, he said he tied in a comic book thing or a cartoon thing in the card of the conversation we had. I'm like, wow, he really was listening to me when I told him how to send.
you.
People do what you tell them to do.
Yeah.
And if you say, hey, when you meet with somebody and you hear a topic, tie that back into the card.
Hmm.
And he did, and look what it got me. They're both going to sign up separately, so it's going to give me. They're both going to do subscriptions, and they're both going to do System Sense. So don't underestimate just the training a little bit when you get even a new customer, even if they're on 17. Tie that information back into the. If you're not telling people to listen during the conversation and tie what topic came up back into the card, and not just do basic cards. And I know it's not what you say, it's not what you do, it's how you make them feel. But it got me 2 referrals today.
Yeah, it's okay to have a combination. It is okay to have a combination. But Sean's 100% right. You think about the people that are gonna, that you're gonna impact. You're gonna do something different and special with them. Like I do a lot. We had recently the Daughter's Day and the Son's Day.
Mhm.
And I took
But
those
those
cards.
okay, saw the Daughter's Day, and then like 2 days later it was National Son's Day, and I'm like, is it really? Or did not? I'm
No,
like,
it really
I did
was.
so many, I did so many Daughter's Day cards.
Yeah,
Just the front and back cards.
yeah.
And then the
That's
Son's Day came up, and I'm like, made up stuff like we're gonna have send out card holiday thing now instead of Hallmark.
Yeah, there you go, there you go. But I did a lot of those to people. But one of the things that I did also is I screenshot through my phone actually to make it an image of what the parent said about that daughter or
No,
about
that's a great idea too. Yeah,
okay, and I put that if I didn't do the flat card, I would put it off on the left panel of the message that they do. I do an
gotcha.
awful lot of doing that message along with and
That's a great idea. That's a
state
great
where
idea.
the Facebook post was, and then
So
sending.
when it's National Ant Day next week, I'll do that,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So, but it's just like amazing. I'll tell you another card. Well, we're getting off on a tangent on the cards, but another
Imagine
card
that.
that there's been a tremendous amount of feedback that I've gotten that's given me people to put in the funnel and talk with at a later time is past anniversary cards.
I
And
do them all the time.
I do an anniversary card and I take a picture, whatever picture they have up there or collage of pictures sometimes, and just say, happy 27th anniversary, late or
Yep.
not, happy anniversary,
It doesn't matter. It
It
does.
doesn't matter.
And
Yeah.
there's that not celebrating you, but it's the couple one under celebrations. There's one that's made up for an anniversary that the picture's on top and then
Oh,
the,
yeah, yeah, celebrating you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yep, yep, that's another one there.
yeah.
Yeah, so and for those of you that, use use the favorites on your site and save those ones, those template one, those ones that you want to put in favorites. I can't tell you how much that saved me a lot of
Yeah,
time. I didn't use that favorite feature for a long time.
right.
Why not? So now your template. I love the templated one that says, gosh, you can't put it into words.
Hmm.
Craziness you can't put into
Yeah,
words. Really play with that a
I
lot.
like that one. Yeah.
You know, I send a lot of cards from pets.
I've done a lot.
Thanks for
I do a
adopting.
lot of the photo drop cards more than I used to because I do like the templates.
Yeah,
And what I found, like prior to COVID, I never used the website.
I know you were always that person. I always
Always
thought
have.
that was amazing that you were always used a phone. It's like, oh man, I use the website all the time.
But I forgot how much fun it was to do a full bleed picture on both inside panels and right over it. And I find myself doing more and more of those because that's almost 100% of the time when it was just the website, I would do it almost on every one.
Yeah,
Um, so it's for me it's fun. Whether hopefully when they get it they like the card. So,
yeah,
but,
yeah, for sure, for
but,
sure.
all
So,
right.
yep, yeah, yeah. Thanks, Sean, for telling us all that. For those of you who don't know that, you can still bleed right over top of it.
Yep. As long as the card is blank inside.
Hmm. Yep.
If it has a pre-made message, and even if you get rid of it, you can't do the full bleed picture.
Right. It has to start out completely blank on the
Completely blank inside. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, it has to start on that. So
um,
that's like pretty
and
cool.
then you just have to pick your pictures where there is a spot where you can write over it that people can read it.
Yeah, write it, type it, and then move it around and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Get it the right color,
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Blue on black, and all that kind of stuff.
so our suggestion this week is go gather customers.
Yeah. Yeah. Go gather, go back. Anybody that you've sent these cards out to, they're perfect people to just kind of like reach
Yeah.
back out again.
Add to your list.
Yeah.
Ask if they're going to do holiday cards. Ask if they're going to do a thank you card to their clients, friends, and family, and reference 2020, especially to this year. It's needed.
Hmm.
It is needed. So those are the perfect type of people to reach out to, and set a Zoom, send 20, 30 minutes, have them send a card. And again, the more you do of those, the more customers you're going to get. It's funny how that works. And you're not going to, you know what? And then you're not going to be as stressed.
Yeah.
And and I understand. I've been in that mode where you're chasing one or two people, and you just think you're being persistent, but it comes off as needy.
Hmm.
If you're just chasing one or two people to get a system send versus having 30, 40, 50 people that you've shown because they're going to pop. I had a realtor that I saw a system send. I'm like, what the hell? Who's that? And she did it on her own, did it on a Monday a few weeks ago. That, oh, I wanted to do some group send cards and, so I added it. I'm like, cool. So,
See, that's
uh,
really a testament to how you explain it to them too. Because a lot of people it's kind of like I know I sometimes I'll get people say, well, how do I get this system? What do I do if I want to send the group
right.
send, because they didn't either pay attention or I didn't explain it enough for them.
Yeah.
But
And I mean, just, it is system overload when you're trying to, again, the subscriptions are for the one-to-one cards. and you can do group sends, and I usually say you can do group sends, but there's a cheaper, more inexpensive way to do that. Add the system send, you get 300, and when you burn through those in 2 months, it's still just $1.31 a card. So plant that seed that they're not going to use 300 over the next year. They're going to go through it quickly, but they're still going to pay the best price until that year's up.
Right.
So.
Right. They're locked into that price for the year,
Yep.
if they're
Yep.
even on 17. See, another thing too, that for those that aren't business owners that you've got out there that are sending Christmas, that want to do Christmas cards, one system pack can cover 2 years.
Yeah.
If you do it right. I mean, you get it now, and then next year before, or what is today's date? October 8th. So next year by October 7th, queue your cards for the holidays next year. You use the same system pack.
Yep.
So you could be paying for your Christmas cards 2 years in a row.
Absolutely.
For those that are just that kind of personal use.
Yeah.
Most business owners, they'll repurchase that $3.95.
Right.
So okay. Awesome.
All righty. Well, I hope that helps.
do it.
Drop
Let's
any
get it done.
comments, or if you need any assistance in anything, feel free to ask and let us know. We're here to help.
You got it. We want a lot of people there.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we're social distancing, but we need a lot of people there.
Oh, I'm going to give hugs.
Okay, bye everybody.
All right. Have a great week. See you next week.
Bye.